And you're watching this Roots TV exclusive as we count down to the polls. It's officially 14 days to the presidential elections. February 16th can't come any sooner. At the moment, we have been seeing in the news the various candidates making last-minute dashes to various cities, various states, various localities to sell their ideas, their promises to the electorate in hopes that they will receive their votes in return. We have seen mammoth crowds from different places, either represented for the APC, the PDP, and so many other parties, slugging it out for the presidential seat come February 16. Here on the show, we are looking at all the various issues that you, the electorate, you, the voter, you, the card-carrying or the PVC-carrying Nigerian, will have to consider as you go to the polls February 16. And let's get this clear. I hope you plan to vote. I hope with that PVC in your hand, you're not just going to put it at your the back of your pocket and use it as an ID. A lot is at stake in this particular elections. Do we have to remind you about the economy? Do we have to remind you about, security? Do we have to remind you about a better future that almost I think all of the candidates are promising, from the president to his main contender, the PDP candidate Atiku Abubakar, to Kingsley Moghalu, to Showore. All of them are promising a better future. But what does this better future mean? If you are asked, who are you voting for? And when you give your answer and you're asked, why are you voting for that person? What would be your answer? I have heard people say, I'm voting for this person because he'll give me a better life. Oh yeah, now, like Nigerians will say, define that better future. Most people can't explain. That is because many of us have no clue of the manifestos, what these promises are. They'll give us light, they'll give us this, they'll give us that. What are the differences between these candidates' manifestos and their promises? Who will really give you employment? Who will really give you power? Who will really give you better health? These are the questions that we are asking right here on our Roots TV special as we count down to the polls. My name is Gloria Oji Emodi, and we encourage you to join us and make comments on the comment section of this video, even as you watch or as you give us your thoughts going forward to the February 16 elections. Right here to discuss this are two distinguished guests. I want to start with our former honorable member, if I should use the word. He was a member of the House of Representatives. He is Jeff Ojinika. Good to have you on Roots TV.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. And we are bringing back our own very good contributor who has been here on several occasions. He is Chika Otuchikere. He is a journalist who has on various occasions covered different, candidates leading to these elections. He has very interesting perspectives on what their manifestos say. Good to have you, Chika.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so I'm going to start, with your general overview of the manifestos, all the promises that these candidates have. Let's start with the incumbent APC, President Muhammadu Buhari, who is promising to take Nigeria to the next level, and then his closest rival, which is the PDP candidate Atiku Abubakar, who says it's going to make Nigeria work again. I'm starting with you, Mr. Ojinika. What are your thoughts? And then you can also throw in, give us your thoughts on other ones that stand out from the opposition.
Yeah, after a very cursory look and study of the 91 different constitutions and manifestos of the 91 political parties, you will see a whole lot of similarities that hardly can you find very distinguishable differences in terms of the constitution. And basically, our party's constitutions, the various parties' constitutions, were more or less developed from our own constitution, because there are a whole lot of requirements in the constitution that stipulates that every party must do this, every party must do that, and all the parties in compliance to those constitutional provisions try to lift all those things that are part of our constitutional requirements for formation.
So there are no definitives, there are no distinctive traits there.
At the end of time, if you look at the INEC requirements for you to have your manifestos, for you to have your program, you will discover that if you do a comparative study of the various manifestos and constitution of our various political parties, there are a whole lot of, in fact, a whole lot of resemblances. Over 90% of things you see in them are similar. It's only just, variation of about 5 to 10%, which to some extent can be very, very insignificant.
So with what you just said, it feels like more of people are going to vote based on the character or the personality of the candidates put before them, and not necessarily what they promise.
Definitely, two things will inform the destiny for this forthcoming election.
Mm-hmm.
One is the character of the individuals that are involved. Secondly, the two major contenders. One has been vice president. The other one has been president for 4 years. So the one that has been president for 4 years, Nigerians have been in position to assess him, to really know, what his capabilities and what his capacities can be. So it will not be a problem, for Nigerians to really make up their mind on who to vote for, because for people who have been here in the last 3 years and 6 months ago, can decipher, what this president can do, and possibly the vice president would not be in position really to assess him. So,
but why do you say that? You haven't been in a position to assess him. He has constantly said, while
previously he has been a vice president, so he has not been actively in charge. But if it is in terms of assessment, in terms of person and personality, people can assess him. He prides very well that he's an entrepreneur. You can see his businesses, and he has been a very successful businessman. You can see his university, the university he runs, is one of the best universities in the country. That if he runs the Nigerian universities same way and manner he runs his own American university then one will bet that we can try to have one of the best.
So from just listening to you, you almost sound like you seem, in terms of the character and personality, the opposition PDP seems to hold something that...
We are putting everything on the hand. The only information we have about our current president is that every year he fills a form and enters there that he has 100 cows. So that doesn't.
But before I'll come to you, Chika, there are people who have continuously said that this is a president who, they call him Mr. Integrity, that he's an honest person, he's truly trying to eliminate corruption. I'm saying these are some people's ideas, and then some people have attributed maybe some infrastructural development, a few successes in the economy, and that to the president. So if you say all really he has achieved is just being able to declare that he's got 100 cows, don't you think that you're probably negating a few things he may have done in 3.5 years?
Well, I think if you are sick and you need a doctor, your first point of call will not be a doctor that has integrity. What you need is a doctor that knows the job, that is efficient, that can diagnose your situation and cure you.
I see.
If your vehicle is bad, you are not looking for a mechanic that has integrity. All you need is a mechanic that knows how to job, that can repair your car, and you carry your car and go.
Well, that sounds pretty interesting. I will differ on that mechanic one, because we have had issues with mechanics who are really, really good at their jobs, but they're very dishonest, and by the time they're done fixing your car, they would spoil far much more than actually you came to fix. So if you're using that analogy, it could actually go both ways. Chika, I want to hear your thoughts on their manifestos, and now that Mr. Ojinika has brought it up, the characters or the personalities of the two main contenders, and please feel free to give us, your thoughts on the other candidates who will be vying for presidency February 16th.
Well, thank you very much. Talking about manifestos, parties in Nigeria, the woman agree with me that Nigerian parties don't run on manifestos. But then manifesto is just a mere piece of paper that things are scribbled upon.
Okay, let's talk about the promises they make at their rallies. If maybe the manifestos really don't count, or these are things they scribble on paper. What about those huge promises? You've seen the rallies, you've heard what they promise, and of course you've watched a few shows where they have sat down to address the public and the electorate. What are your thoughts on some of the things that they promise they're going to do if they get into office?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, those promises are fall out of the manifestos.
I see.
No doubt about it. And so these manifestos don't count. Evidently, the promises may not count.
All right, let's talk about
What I'm trying to say is that Nigerians or the Nigerian electorate needs to get to a point where he knows what he's looking for. In order to have vote for any particular candidate or any particular party, because they will tell you, Nigerian system will tell you that it's not the candidate that they vote for, it's the parties. But everyone knows that when the chips are down, it's the candidates that really matter, not the party.
Okay, so let me get your perception on February 16 as we approach February 16. I'm just going to tilt this conversation to something that might irk both of you, but hey, let's have that conversation. From what you're seeing, from the rallies, from all of the back and forth, from all the mudslinging that we're getting from all the parties. Now, I can't just say APC and PDP. I'm even seeing it flying from the different opposition parties. I mean, who do you feel has a best chance or a much better chance at the polls February 16? Considering every single thing that's been happening, please, Chika, be very honest. Give me your true thoughts, irrespective of any sort of alignment or bias.
I should express integrity in this point. Is that what you're saying?
I didn't say you didn't have integrity. I'm just saying, you know. No. I'm saying just let me. Okay, no, but I want to hear your thoughts on this matter.
Well, if we start with the minor oppositions, let me use that expression. You find out that these minor oppositions, they are like mere battalions. Most of them have not gone to any state.
So when you're saying minor opposition, are you talking about people like Kingsley Moghalu, Showore?
They only have to latch on opportunities to come out and say one thing or the other. But in doing the real campaigning, you're not seeing them doing the real campaigning.
I see.
And that's another part. So that's why the searchlight is on the ruling party's candidate and the main opposition.
Would you say maybe because the reason it feels like the smaller parties are not campaigning that much, it's probably because they don't have that much money to pay the media to publicize their campaigns? Because I'm aware that a lot of these smaller parties also are having town hall meetings, meeting people at different, in the grassroots, different places. But somehow, either because they can't afford to pay for it in the media, they don't get that kind of coverage. Do you think, I mean, your colleague in the industry?
Well, you make the right way, in a sense, because whether we like it or not, we still operate what we describe as money politics.
Money
So when
politics.
you don't have the money, then you're just coming out to make some jokes. As a matter of fact.
That's quite intense. Mr. Ojinika, do you agree with him? I really want to get your thoughts with all that you're seeing, with all the polity and all of the, somebody says chess. It's like a game of chess right now as we head to February 16. What are your thoughts on the person who has the best chances at the polls come February 16?
Well, a part of integrity, as you rightly said, integrity is very important, but it's not all. The part of integrity is that if you are given an assignment that you don't have the strength, you don't have the physical strength, you don't have the mental strength to do. Integrity demands that you say, please, I can't do this. We got that from the retired Pope. He said his conscience cannot allow him to continue to stay in office because he doesn't have the physical strength to continue, that he doesn't want where people will be taking decisions on his behalf. As a result of that, the Pope had to resign. We also expect that if they give you a job, you don't have the physical strength to run. You'll be in position to say that you cannot run this job.
Do you think it's just physical strength that's needed here?
We cannot continue in a situation where a president will be visiting states only once in 4 years when he wants to go for election. More than 2/3 of the states today are hosting the president for the first time in the last 4 years, and he's only going there for election. That's not what it ought to be.
But I also want to bring this factor in even as we continue this conversation. I mean, a lot has happened. The polity is so heated up. I mean, I don't even know whether to start from the beginning of this year. We have heard about controversies surrounding the appointment of Amina Zachary as the head of the Collation Center of INEC. That caused a huge issue because people believe that she was related, or she is related, or has some sort of relationship with the president. The opposition has screamed blue murder on that. That's one on the side. And we're still taking the story of the embattled CJN, who is now been suspended. Some people also linking it to the elections. And then we saw a lot of people who opposed the electoral guidelines brought out by the INEC, and then the clampdown of the media, or rather Daily Trust, which many people believe could be leading or to the elections, which could be related to the elections because they want to muscle the media in terms of that. Now, when you put all of this together, I will ask you the question again. How do you think that's going to play out on February 16th? Okay, yes, you can start.
Well, on February 16th, I think Nigerians will vote to liberate themselves from the shackles of intimidation. Because if you trace everything from that of the media, the government of the day wanted to intimidate the media, and they had to use Daily Trust as an example, so that other people will stay and they will get afraid. The president also set up in a signal that I don't want free and fair election. This he had to do by his refusal to assent to the electoral bill. He had severally 4 times for the bill sent to him that he had to decline. And each time he waits for the 1 month to elapse before he will reject it on the last day. And at the last time, he said everything is now okay, but it is the timing. When you also know that the former president, Goodluck Jonathan, signed the same bill 48 hours to election. But in this case, he has 2-3 months and he refused to sign. It was an indication that I don't want free and fair election. So, and getting Amina Zachary also to go to the coalition. In fact, initially, they wanted him as INEC chairman. There was uproar in the country before they now made her acting chairman. Before they now had to, appoint a chairman. And ordinarily, in good clients, where somebody has acted as a chairman, if a new chief executive comes, that person should leave. But she still had to stay back. And they made her director of operations. And all the elections she had been wiped have been messed up. And she has been associated with, in this country now, for rigging. In fact, a second name should be electoral malpractice.
I really don't think you should say that. I'm sorry. That is character assassination. I mean, there is no proof that she has engineered any rigging. She may have been in office when some questionable things may have happened, but you can't attribute that to a person. I think that is totally unfair to
what I mean to say is that in all the elections that she acted as directors of operations, most of them were declared. It was a period of inconclusive elections. And those inconclusive elections... And
to you, that couldn't be a possible coincidence?
No, those inconclusive elections were used as strategy for manipulations. Manipulations, because all those processes were all mad. In fact, all of them ended up with their own series of tribunals. And that will tell you the level of protest that has been.
So it is quite understandable where you believe that, where your affiliations lie and how you think the elections are going to play out. So obviously, with all of this put forward, it is possible, I believe, and it's speculated that the opposition would probably not accept the election results if it tilts to the favor of the president, the way you are sounding.
Globally, all the worldwide, the countries of the world are going for oppositions. Oppositions are winning election in all parts of the world.
Nigeria is a sovereign country. We are different kinds of people.
Nigeria cannot be an exception. You will see that the opposition candidate will win overwhelmingly in this forthcoming election.
Interesting. I want to get your thoughts. I allowed him to express his thoughts. I want to get yours on this matter. Do you agree as well?
Yes, to a large extent, the opposition candidate has said that as long as the election is deemed fair, credible, and transparent,
he's going to accept the outcome.
Mm-hmm. And that's it in itself tells audience.
Even the president has said the election is not a do or die affair himself.
No, the president, when if I recall what he said, he made some inferences like saying that it was impossible for him to lose the election, as if perhaps he has already known the outcome. And that if you follow the trend on social media, you see that is the language of a lot of his followers.
So you believe that if the elections come out in his favor,
they are judging the outcome of the election based on the crowds that they see as campaign rallies.
I see.
But from our own understanding, especially as journalists, we know that crowds as rallies may not necessarily
translate to the number of people that actually go to the polls on election day.
Where the person votes, which candidate the person who attended.
So we should discount all of the mammoth crowd that we see. So at the end of the day, it's all about the people who carry their PVCs to the polling stations, the polling units on February 16th.
If you also look at the trend of campaigning, you see that it tilts so much towards character assassination.
Of who? Of which candidate?
Of all the candidates. For instance, the PDP, supporters who want to take the president as Buhari from the stance of his health and his inability
to perform. I really think that's how elections are, because okay.
And his inability to perform within the last 3.5 years. While the ruling party supporters want to say, Atiku is a corrupt person. For goodness sake, if we're in a country that the rule of law is upheld, a person is deemed innocent until proven guilty, like what the president
said. It is his responsibility.
Like what the president said in the case of Kano State governor.
But
why are they using a different?
But you do know all over the world that campaigning, when people are campaigning for any particular position, even if it's as minor as council heads, you will always attack the character. They always attack the character of their contenders or their opponents. So the campaigns on the election of the United States and
if you follow closely that election, those campaigns, you discover that these people were more they're talking about ideologies and manifestos.
Well, let's not go to the American elections because I followed it quite well, and Trump was very, very nasty
Trump said for him it was America first.
Yes, and you didn't hear all the names that he called Hillary, all the number of times he mocked her, even when she.
Those ones were just like aside to them, but here,
but
it's the main issue.
Every day
you wake up and you go to the social media, all the APC members are saying about people is corruption. Can't they see on any other thing about him to talk about? Let's assume,
but with all due respect, Chika, with all due respect,
university have failed. Obviously, they would have said.
Chika, with all due respect, I also have to let you know that the PDP as well, on daily basis, releases statements also accusing the APC of so many different things. So you cannot put it on one side. There is a lot of mudslinging across board, and I'm not just talking about APC. Yes.
But what I'm pointing out is that what the PDP supporters have been saying is not far from what the general public holds as perception. For instance,
when you say general public, what do you mean by that?
The general public, the populace, the Nigerians.
Anyways, as we wrap up our conversation, in just 1 minute, your final thoughts getting to February 16. What are the things that people should focus on as they go to cast their vote for the next president, whether it be incumbent or any of the opposition candidates? Starting with you, Mr. Ojenika.
Yeah, the next election will determine our future as a people getting together. We need a president that will unify the whole country. We need a president that will make all Nigerians feel that they are Nigerians. We need a president that will not play a dichotomy of 97% and 5%. We need a president that do not appoint only his cronies and only people from his area as people who will be in government. We need a president that can draw people from all over the country. Sense.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ojinika. And to you, Dr. Chikere.
Well, what I was actually expecting from these various candidates was the expressions such as, we are going to ensure that Nigerians stop using generator to power electricity. We are going to ensure that Nigerians stop going abroad for medical treatment or for education.
I see.
And you know, when a candidate says that, what the average Nigerian should reason is that he's going to make sure that those things are put in place in this country to prevent what he does not want to happen. But we never heard from any of these people. I want to say that Nigerians should go there on that day. Not vote based on the money that they have been given. Because right now it's a major issue.
With all due respect, yes, across board.
The vice president has taken it to a higher dimension by sharing. The vice president has taken it to a higher dimension by sharing money in the markets. The trader money project is voted by.
Like I said, they are going to investigate it. I hope they are going to do a
INEC knows the truth. Transparency International, so many, CISLAC, all of them have done detailed study, and it has been proven beyond reasonable doubt that trader money project is voted by. Because they had to include some clauses, like they had to collect their PVC in all the forms they collected. What's the correlation between traders in the money and in the market and PVCs? It's
okay, we will.
I have to point out that we will have to give it to President Buhari. The fact that he fell to pressure and retired the former Inspector General of Police, bringing in a new one. And this new one now has a huge responsibility in his hand, because Nigerians are going to assess him based on his performance in this coming election.
I see. All right. So these are some of the issues that have been coming up. But I tell you, as we come down to the elections, especially the presidential elections on February 16, which is just 14 days from now, you have a lot of decisions to make. For some people, they have already decided who they're going to vote for. But then we cannot ignore a significant number of Nigerians who are still wondering, who do we vote for? No matter who you're affiliated with, or whoever it is, you come out in your small meeting closet and your closet to say, I like this person, I like this person. It all boils down to you going out on February 16 with your PVCs to vote. Please, have you collected your PVC? If you've not collected your PVC, it's a very simple thing for you to do. Watch our subsequent packages on how you could actually pick up your PVC just like that. It is that simple. A big thank you to you, Mr. Jeff Ojinika, for being here to talk to us. And of course, my colleague, Chika Chikere, thank you for your insight on these topics. My name is Gloria Oje Emodi, and you're still right here on RootsTV Nigeria.